welcome back to the Trevor Report. Let's jump right on into it. Trump v. Desantis. I don't care. You can't make me care. I don't care. The problem is, some people do care, and some people care about it a lot. Some people really like drama, but me, I don't like drama, even though I like covering politics, and politics is basically just drama that actually affects your life. But nevertheless, okay, this feud became a feud when Trump fired back, because of course Trump was going to fire back, and he called him. And you won't believe what he called him. He called him this. It's so awful. It's so terrible. It's just absolutely unbelievable. It's such a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad nickname. He called him Desanctimonious. Wordplay. So this wouldn't even pass as an insult in kindergarten, probably because no one would know what sanctimonious means in kindergarten. But grade school in general, this wouldn't work. This would be a flop. This isn't anything. Okay, and I've covered in a previous Trevor report why the establishment wants this sort of infighting, but it's just leading to a bunch of nonsense. Trump on his True Social went on a thing about how Desantis had about in the race in 2018. Before I go into the Independent article, I'll do this. He made a previous True Social post talking about how he cleaned up his campaign and to make it better, as in he rearranged some of the stuff, and then he endorsed him, and that's what helped him. And that's to help Ron DeSantis win. Then, in a separate Truth Social post, he said this: "I also fixed his campaign, which had completely fallen apart. I was all in for Ron, and he beat Gillum. But after the race, when votes were being stolen by the corrupt election process in Broward County, and Ron was going down 10,000 votes a day, along with now Senator Rick Scott, I sent in the FBI and the U.S. attorneys, and the ballot theft immediately ended. Just prior to them running out of the votes necessary to win, I stopped his election from being stolen." Now, whether or not that's true or not doesn't matter. The fact is, the corporate press is now accusing Trump of trying to rig the election by making sure that because he prevented election fraud from occurring in 2018. What? That doesn't make sense. Maybe it's because I just woke up an hour ago. But that doesn't make sense, or an hour of the time I'm recording this. But that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. He's trying to rig the election. Okay, how? By making sure that election laws are following through. But I'm not kidding. That's what the corporate press is actually running on. Let me check to see if I'm.
Win bigly. But
let me just make sure.
Ron DeSantis
barely. I am. Let's actually play this clip. Let's actually play it.
I told you he was going to win bigly. But listen, Ron DeSantis barely won in 2018 by 35,000 votes by the skin of his teeth against a black, progressive, little-known mayor from Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh, so he ran against someone who was born correct and still won. How could this have possibly happened? The corporate press has been overtaken by just absolute pathetic black nationalist cravens or whatever. I'd have an insult.
Yesterday, he won by 20 percentage points. Why? Because he gamed the system. Because he turned Florida into an unlevel playing field. They changed election laws, making it harder to vote by mail. They paraded a bunch of people, black people, that they arrested for voting fraud, and paraded them in front of.
That is just such a massive self-report. Do these people not realize that they are evil? Okay, you can't use. Well, okay, you physically could, but you shouldn't. But anyway, you can't exploit people to your own ends, and then when people as soldiers, and then when the people who are in the interest of not being exploited find that your soldiers are outside the bounds of the law and then prevent them from doing evil and more evil and corrupt things by enforcing the law. You can't just say, "Oh, he took our he took our pawns. He took our pawns, guys. He took our pawns." It's so stupid. It's absolutely pathetic and unbelievable. But the point is that there is one rule for the establishment and another rule for you, the little guy, and me, incidentally, as well. There's another rule for them that does not apply to us. Okay? Donald Trump can be banned from the public square, and I suppose it's a good thing he's a billionaire so that he could build another presence in the public square. Okay? So, go to sms.theacropolisnews.com if you want to become cancel-proof, but you don't have billions of dollars, incidentally. But anyway, so it all comes back to this. People want the fight between Ron DeSantis versus Trump, and it's probably because of two things. One, if there is a debate in the primaries, Trump will win. I don't think Trump has actually lost a debate. I don't think he's lost one. Certainly not a debate in a Republican primary. I don't think he's lost a single one. But so there's just a sort of watching people fail. Okay, that's I guess if it comes to pass, because I can't predict the future. That'd be my reason for it. Another reason too is, for some reason, establishment Republicans want Trump over Ron DeSantis. They want Ron DeSantis over Trump, which is stupid. It's completely stupid. Okay, I don't know what Ron DeSantis would be like as a president. Okay, just because he can do well in Florida as well doesn't mean that the votes in Florida will translate to the rest of the country, because as far as the rest of the country is concerned, he is the governor of Florida. Okay, then you have the fact that there is a certain mythos around Trump, and I don't mean his celebrity status. I mean that there is a sort of American mythology, and by mythology I don't mean fiction. Okay, I think Trump should have the opportunity to run again, so that he can have, or rather, so that we, the American people, can have our Robin Hood. Okay, Trump is America's Robin Hood. He is the embodiment of the American dream. Okay, and I guess from this story perspective, from this parochial way of viewing it, Trump is essentially, again, America's Robin Hood. Think about this for a moment, okay? It's a story that I believe we should be able to tell our children. Donald Trump, who had his immigrant parents, moved to the country, achieved tremendous success in the United States. Then he grew up, and then he managed to again, from Trump's own words, a small loan of $1 million. He then took that one-time payment from his father, and who said that he'll never help him with anything else again, and then he turned that into a multi-billion-dollar real estate enterprise business. Donald Trump has lived the quintessence of the American dream. You can move here and achieve success. So then what he does is, years down the road, he tries at his political ambitions in the 90s. Doesn't work. Okay, tries to create a third-party system. Doesn't work. So then what happens is Donald Trump then runs on the Republican ticket, because it's the most likely to which he thinks he'll win. Then he goes in. Then he wins in the primaries in a landslide, and then he wins election. He gets the presidential election in 2016. To him, All is going well. But then all the king's horses and all the king's men decided that Trump should never ever get up again. And so they lied and they lied and they cheated, etc. And they did so for 4 years. Okay, he couldn't do. But even though he was completely shackled, again, by all the king's horses and all the king's men, he still fulfilled a bunch of his campaign promises. And then in 2020, a once in a lifetime pandemic occurred, and all sense of normalcy within the West was completely shut out. Despite this, he got more votes than he did previously. In fact, while the United States was in the pandemic, and in the year prior, the country was, for the first time in its lifetime, energy independent, peace in the Middle East. Okay, no new wars. All of these really, really good things. Okay, or as I would say, the bare minimum that a president should have. That the bare minimum a presidential administration should have. Then, very, very mysteriously, again, I've talked about this Time magazine article before. All the king's horses and all the king's men decided to fortify the castle walls to prevent the king from maintaining his kingdom. You could kind of see where this story comes from. Okay, that is why Trump not only needs to run again, which he's likely going to announce on Monday. He needs to win or lose. Either way, it's good for the story. Okay? It's a story, again, that our generation deserves to tell our children. Now, I hope that Trump would win, because again, I would like the story to be, if you achieve success and people get, because you can literally just, it's very simple. Trump achieved success. A bunch of his fellow successful people got jealous of him, and then they decided to band together to make sure that Trump wasn't as successful as he could be. But then, despite all of this, despite the peer pressure, the manipulation, the lies, okay, he still managed to come on top anyway. That is the story that I want to be able to tell my future children. Okay, the secured border, peace in the Middle East, record-breaking economy, energy independence. As far as I'm concerned, that is the bare minimum of a presidency. That is not reason enough to vote for a president. Okay, I want the story. That's literally it. I want the aesthetics of an independent, successful man who through his sheer force of will overcomes trials and tribulations. I want to be able to pass that story down to my children, so that my children's children can learn that story to pass it down to their children. Okay, I want Trump to be America's Robin Hood. But yeah, anyway. But everyone, there's too many articles talking about Trump versus Desantis. Sorry about that rant, by the way. I'll finish this Trevor report up quickly now. Biden eggs on possible Trump-DeSantis clash. It'll be fun watching them take down each other. Yeah, sure, whatever. But the thing is, bigger fish to fry. And I'm not kidding. Okay, wages have fallen down for the 19th straight month. 19th. Unacceptable. And this is also, by the way, completely unacceptable. Arizona election results delayed until after the weekend, Maricopa officials say. voters experienced issues with Maricopa County's tabulator machines, with one poll worker revealing that around 25% of the ballots were being rejected. Now, I covered this on election day, okay, on the day of the midterms. I covered this, but this is stupid. So here's what you do, okay? If my calculator on my phone isn't working, okay? Now, this would never happen because I can do basic arithmetic, but let's just say hypothetically, I don't know what 7 times 7 is. Okay, by the way, for people who don't know basic arithmetic in the audience, that's 49. Okay? Didn't even have to think about it. Okay? If I didn't know that and my calculator was broken, then what I would do is I would go 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49. Basic arithmetic, right? So the ballot machines, the calculators are broken. So what you do is you take the ballots, you get a team of people, go down the line, and you go 1 ballot, 2 ballot, 3 ballot, 4, 5 ballot, 6 ballot, like that's it. Okay? And then you have someone else go when the ballots need to be open to count what were the votes for the propositions and the governors, senators, president, blah blah blah, etc. Right? School officials and judges or whatever, etc. Or at least that's what was on the California ballot, not the president. So then they open it up and go, that's 1 no for the senator, 2 no's for the senator, 3 no's for the senator, 4 no's for the senator. Like, this is basic arithmetic. Are you telling me, are you honestly, sincerely, from the bottom of your heart, telling me that there is not a single person in this election process in Arizona that can do basic arithmetic? Because if that's true, if no one here can count without mechanical assistance, okay, like John Fetterman, incidentally, then why even have an election at all at this point? Okay, because apparently the United States deserves to fail if everyone involved in the election process in Arizona can't do such a basic arithmetic. It's infuriating. But Lauren Boebert is winning by the skin of her teeth, and the Arizona gubernatorial race is too close to call because it turns out, incidentally, you don't know who wins your election unless you count the goddamn votes. So stupid. It turns out if we don't count how many people have fucking voted, then we don't know who's winning our election. Oh my god. Oh wow. What brilliant. So stupid. It's so stupid. But again, I have the Reuters thing pulled up. 79% of the vote is in, and it's been 79% of the vote in Arizona for 2 goddamn days. It's going to take all this time to count these votes, which is why we're not counting the votes at all currently. What? So it's beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. Okay? But then, But now it's getting to a point where even people on the left don't want Joe Biden to run, and yeah, that's probably bad optics if he runs. Incidentally, it's probably incredibly bad optics. It's probably terrible optics. It's probably the worst optics ever. This president is officially worse than Jimmy Carter. Like unironically, and that's because the United States is undergoing a controlled collapse. You know, but there are other reasons to, again, not care that Ron DeSantis and Trump are having a little schoolyard fight where I already know the outcome of the fight anyway. Okay, and it's this. Again, one rule for one group of people, one rule for another group of people. Okay, 10 months ago, okay, Biden held a press conference where he denied the legitimacy of upcoming 2022 midterm elections. Again, one rule for thee, another for me. Okay, then you have the FBI just being further weaponized. Trump never weaponized the FBI at all. He just used the FBI to enforce the laws that are within the bounds of the FBI. But the FBI has been weaponized against him, and the FBI has been weaponized against you, and the FBI has been weaponized against me, and the FBI has been weaponized against your mom. The FBI has been weaponized against your dog. You know, the FBI has just been weaponized against everyone. You know, and then there's again from a week ago. We just found this out that big tech was colluding with the Department of Homeland Security in order to prevent disinformation, where the Department of Homeland Security had a direct line of communication with Twitter, with Facebook, with Instagram, in order to censor information that the government does not like, in a violation of the First Amendment at the very least. Okay. Definitely, perhaps even a violation of some antitrust laws as well. Okay, so again, don't care. I don't care about Trump versus DeSantis, and there's a myriad of reasons why. I'll catch y'all on Monday.